So good day everyone out here, especially to you mom who is watching right now. So today I'm going to talk about my assigned topics entitled Ethics and Leadership. So before we start, let's define ethic first. So ethics is the branch of knowledge that deals with the moral principles. In short, it is the studies what is morally right or wrong. While leadership, the action of leading of a group of people is an organization. So other words are the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. So meaning is the acting ethically and setting the standard for others to do or will. So in this slide, what is ethical leadership? So ethical leadership means that individuals behave according to a set of principles and values that are recognized by the majority as a sound basis for the common good. So based on this definition, in my opinion, leadership is about influencing other people, subordinates, or followers to want to achieve the goals as a leaders. In addition, leadership is about a person's assertiveness in influencing others. Also, leadership is the process of influencing or setting an example by the leader to his followers in an effort to achieve organizational goals. So that's the leadership. And also, leadership is an ability that exists within a person to be able to influence others or guide certain parties to achieve goals. So there are several theories that must be understood related to leadership. So next slide, why is it essential to be an ethical leader? So in this definition, from a collective perspective, leaders can inspire those around them to behave ethically. So in this slide, by setting an example and giving the direction for our ethical behavior, or others will observe and act similarly. In this way, ethical leaders can positively influence many others, presenting them with a set of action that they can adapt for the greater good. So this slide, this includes integrity, respect, trust, fairness, transparency, and honesty. So there are many good reasons to be an ethical leader. So let's proceed to the sixth element. First, we have honesty. So honesty make ethical leaders worthy of the trust others place in them. So example, honesty is acknowledging your team members or subordinates, because when you acknowledge your employees' success, they will feel a strong sense of loyalty to the company, and they will build stronger bonds and increase their productivity. Next, we have justice. So justice, to be fair, means to treat everyone equally. So how you treat your employees equally? Um, Next, we have respect. Ethically, leaders respect others around them, regardless of their position or identifying characteristics. So, respect, like you have to be consistent as treating everyone, no matter what rank or status you are, with a genuine respect and regard. Next, we have integrity. So integrity is shown when your values, words, and action are aligned and consistent. So for example, when making a decision, they consider potential consequences on the organization and other people. So in short, accepting responsibility for decisions and being honest and open with the co-workers and direct reports. So next we have responsibility. So responsibility means accepting to be in charge. So leading by example. Good leader follow their own rules and timely to work and contribute to the best of their ability. So last but not the least, transparency. So transparency concerns mainly the communication with all stakeholders. So, meaning a transparent leaders walks the line between being honest and oversharing. So, that's the sixth element. So, let's proceed to the other slide. So, which are the traits of an ethical leader? So, there are quotes by Lao Tzu, the best way to do as to be. So in these sayings or thoughts, the meaning is the first part, like to do is to be, implies that your action dictates the type of person who you are. Or for example, if you help out people in their academics or acads, then you would be referred as a mentor. And also another example, if you treat people diseases, then you would be the term as a doctor. So the second part, to be is to do, means that if you want to be something, you need to do the things it takes to be called that. And for example, if you want to be a better person in other eyes or other eyes of individuals, do things that would be helpful for others. So there are many types of traits here. So first, they know their internal compass and values. So in these traits, knowing oneself is the first trait, and ethical leaders has to possess. So by knowing their own values and principles, they can make them visible to others, to take possession and solidly enter a negotiation. So next trait is they know their internal compass and values. So in these traits, the meaning or this means reputation, or reputation is built on a repetition, and ethical leaders know that, like, leaders are vulnerable as the trust that people place in that we call people place in them can quickly fade it, they like misbehave, no matter how well they have behaved in the past. Like leaders have to send continuous signals to show that people can continue trusting them. So next traits is they do not tolerate deviations from the ethical code. So in these traits, if someone acts against the code of conduct, or the leader does not we call does not take an action, or this may signal that the code of conduct is not important. So ethical leaders do not make exceptions in this area, and they like immediately signal which behaviors are not tolerated, and in doing so, they build consistency and credibility to avoid confusion and doubts about uh, accepted behaviors accepted behaviors. So next trait is about they raise their concerns, or even if unpopular. Let's say that ethical leaders know ethical leaders know that overlooking important details, or important details, or small important details may cause significant damages. They carefully observe a situation to identify or clarify the potential issues. So when facing a doubt or dilemma, ethical leaders raise their concern, even if this means slowing things down or generating more work. Yes. And next trait is they admit mistakes and share a recovery plan if needed. So in this trait, we can say that if things go wrong, ethical leaders do not hide or minimize of what happened. Instead, they own their mistake or apologize to find ways or to solve the issues, and share all possible recovery plans with the stakeholders or subordinates or followers in the organization of your group. And also this shows they care and they are doing what is their power to improve an unfortunate situation. So next is they are willing to assume full responsibility. So we have a quote as according to Napoleon, as a Napoleon Hill or states, specifically, the successful leader must be willing to assume responsibility for the mistakes and shortcomings of his followers. If he tries to shift this responsibility, he will not remain the leader. So if one of his followers or subordinates make mistakes and shows himself incompetent, the leader must consider that it is he who failed. So in this code, it's a lack of responsibility in organization leaders to in effectiveness, confusion, inaction, and a waste of time and resources. So ethical leaders hold themselves accountable, take charge, and shape the present and future through their words and deeds. So next we have next traits. We have they always show up and speak for their team. In these traits, ethically leaders are present in a good and bad times. Yes, because it develop their teams and defend others when needed, or they are at the front of they are at the front when the storm hits, like giving directions and helping get their teams through their challenges. They know they are the they are we know that they are there to serve the interest of their teams and organizations above their own interest above their own interest. Next, we have they act with fairness. Yes, exactly. This is this is also the important traits in having a traits in ethical leadership. We should apply. So they act with fairness, like leaders have to face many decisions and negotiations. Their behavior clearly favors long-term wins over short-term gains. So it also support meritocracy. Yes, meritocracy and fair treatment. It should be fair of every individual regardless of the status. So ethnicity, age, or any other potential factors are discrimination. So last but not the least, they walk the talk. Unfortunately, this is the last traits of this ethical leader. So again, last but not the least, ethical leaders act with integrity. They practice what they preach, and their values, words, and deeds are aligned and visible to everyone. If they would not hold like themselves to the same standards, or to the same standards, they present to others, like their credibility and reputation would suffer. So leading by example is a choice of consciousness and requires daily focus, but pay off like nothing else. So next slide, how to improve your ethical leadership skills. So there's a lot of skills. We have choose ethical business partners. So the people you choose as employees or partners or consultants, attorneys, suppliers, and customers will signal to everybody else what you stand for. Choose wisely. Next, make your values visible. So once you identify the values you stand for, state them clearly, like by doing so, and you will avoid misunderstandings, and it will be easy for people to decide to partner with you or not. Next skill is set desired behavior and put a control mechanism in place. So your values should be reflect in your behaviors, like which are visible manifestations that can be periodically assessed. So take the time to consider whether you're exhibiting or desired behaviors. So if any decision or if any division is found, like it should be examined and resolved before it becomes problematic. So next skills is never ask an employee to act against the agreed rules. So this is the important, like rules are in place for a reason, and an ethical leader should never ask for a team member for a derogation or allow one from themselves. For example, if the rule is that team members are given a long break after an 8-hour shift, a leader should never ask them to stay late. Like, this will support consistency and will set an ethical example for everyone who is watching. Don't lie about the future. Yes, because like if you know that something isn't going to happen, like don't see it well, because this may concern promotion or exceptional financial result or anything else that is not supported by data. So imperfect is better than fake, and it will pay off in the long term. So next is, don't hinder the development of your team members. So in other words, help your team members be the best version of themselves. Like, even if it means you might lose them to another opportunity. So you can keep every employee forever, diba? But you can develop them into stronger, like professionals, while they are under your guidance. Next, we have identify potential or worst case scenario. So as a leader should always be prepared for potential risk and worst case scenarios, like identifying them early so you can consider all ethical impacts and potential solution. So before you go into crisis mode. So last but not the least, we have acknowledge others. Yes, this is the very common. Don't take credit for someone else's, or don't take credit for someone else's work, even if it's someone that works under you. Instead, acknowledge your team members, like their success. This will foster their loyalty and increase motivation and boost performance. So that's all the skills that we have discussed today about the ethical leadership. So let's proceed to the examples of good ethical leaderships. First, we have walking the talk on safety related topics. So safety is a critical focus at every manufacturing company. Like, every meeting in a plant will be given with a safety briefing, and attendances will be notified of the emergency exists. But it's not enough to simply discuss safety protocols, like leaders must demonstrate them as well. For instance, holding onto the handrail, like when you sing the stairs, wearing safety glasses and helmets, and not using their mobile phones. So in the plant, this shown that safety is truly a priority. So next is deliver what has been promised. So when creating marketing materials or speaking to customers on sales calls, be honest and transparent about what is being offered. For example, if you advertise that a given product has certain characteristics, like customers should be able to confirm those characteristics are accurate, like representations of the product, and delivering on promises clearly, like demonstrates our consistency and build a trust that customers will found. Next is preparing sound contract. So ethical leaders pay attention to details. Should we pay attention to the details, like when working with the external consultants? For example, ensure contracts have all necessary terms and conditions such as the time frame, payment terms, and scope of the service provided. So last but not the least, again, only recommend something if it's worth it, diba? This is the common example of ethical leadership. So ethical leaders only recommended a product or service if they think it will provide value. Of course, for example, a law firm might recommend that a client conduct an equal pay audit to success or to assess and mitigate potential risk. But these suggestions are for the good of the company, not the law firm, and help generate satisfaction, improve relationships, and also retain customers. So that's the examples of ethical leadership. So we have the last slides, which is the conclusion, like final thoughts on ethical leadership. So ethics and leaderships go hand in hand, like while some tend to think there is a choice to make between being profitable and successful, so or behaving ethically, that's simply not the case. So ethical peoples and leaders are necessary drives for success. So that's for all today's in this video. So bye, thank you.